Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today is Walker Withdrawal Wednesday, where we go into the comments section and look for Q&A questions. Now, before I thought we could just pull random questions and we'll make it a big whole discussion, but I tried recording this and it was a disaster. There's so many comments on this that are just random comments, and I'm not yelling or nothing. This was my mistake. I should have just stuck with the Q&A format. So if you're new here, look in the video description. And if you're not new here, yeah, definitely go back to putting Q&A first thing in the comment if you have something that you want to add to a discussion video. One more thing, we're not covering spoilers on this channel. We're not covering spoilers or leaks or set photos, none of that. Only officially released material, so if you want to avoid spoilers, do not worry, we're not covering it on this channel. I know a lot of channels, since it's the downtime, a lot of Walking Dead channels will just cover it even though they don't like spoilers. We're not doing that here, and I'm not judging that. We're just not doing it here. So if you're worried, don't worry. Let's jump right into this with Lackey. I honestly don't see why people say the saviors are going to starve or run out of materials. First off, they probably have tons of groups still harvesting for them. If all the kingdom was giving was a few melons and a few pigs, that's not enough for those people. Secondly, if they really need it, people know how to hunt and farm. Well, I'll get the disagreements out of the way first. First off, we didn't see any different groups. If Negan has tons of different groups, Rick is screwed. There's no season 8. Negan would go get you don't think Negan would make those people fight for him? No. He would go get those people and he would make them fight for him. I don't agree with the farming because you need time for that to grow. If they started farming now, they would be well into the war before things even started to grow. What if they had problems with the crops? What if the season was the wrong season for this or that? Look at the kingdom had problems, you know? So I don't think farming is a good immediate solution to all the supplies not coming in anymore. Like, this is sudden. All three communities, it just suddenly stopped. Where I will agree is, yeah, I might have overhyped it with that a little bit. I did say that it would cause internal conflict, and I strongly believe that. I forget word for word what I said, but yeah, it definitely will cause internal conflict. They built up their economy and how things flow by taking supplies from the other communities. If you cut off that pipeline, you know what I mean? You might have outposts that are now starting to think, well, maybe Negan's not the right guy for the job. That causes problems. You will have the communities on the inside. You have the saviors that are used to living like kings. I mean, they're not going to stop or slow down. They're used to that. They might be like, okay, this is a little interruption, but it's no big deal. I don't think the sanctuary even rations well. I mean, I just don't have that feeling that they do, especially with how they promote it. Like, you can live like a king here. So I will meet you halfway, though. Yeah, I might have oversold it with starving them out, but I don't just mean they're going to starve overnight. I mean, in the long run, over a long period of time, they are not only done getting supplies, there's internal conflict within the groups and the outposts, but they're also at war. So it's going to be a lot harder for them to do things. They might send out hunting parties and they get ambushed and killed and this, that, and the third. So yeah, I'll meet you halfway. I don't think it's as easy as I oversold it, and maybe some other fans oversold it, but I do think it is a good tactic to cut off their resources just for their economy alone. Again, it was built on, all the donations and shit. Aeroplane Blues. Will you do death predictions? Yeah, for season 8, I definitely will. J Money. Hey Ronnie, not sure if you ever heard about this, but what are your thoughts on Jadis's character being promoted, as well as Simon and Enid? Yeah, I talked about this in yesterday's video. I don't read into it too much. I think we can use it for some speculation, but at the end of the day, we have seen what happens with regulars. They last 2 episodes, 3 episodes, 8 episodes, 1 season, and they're done. I personally am not going to use it, as evidence that she's going to make it out of this season, but I will admit there is a chance. Absolutely. It's rough with those series regulars, you know what I mean? Because I haven't heard anyone definitively say what that actually does. as far as maybe looking better on a contract or a resume, maybe being better for a contract. I don't know how that works. I don't know. I wish somebody would say it down below. I'll go and look it up again. I remember having a hell of a time looking that up before, but I'll look into it. And if you guys want to look into it, let us know what that's all about. Mr. Dizles, do you think the Lucille bat is going to break in Season 8? No, I don't think we're going to have any death of Lucille at all in Season 8. That is not happening. I still am going with Season 8 is going to be all-out war, all of it. I could be wrong, but I'm sticking with that. Paul Hartman, according to Breaking Jacob, the problem with Fear is that they didn't make it clear who is the main character. Where did you have to visit their wiki to know that it's Madison? Agree or disagree? If you're looking on Wikipedia to confirm that it's Madison, yeah, I disagree with that altogether. The producers have come out and said time and time again that the family is the main character. You know, this is about the family. Madison is not the main character. If she ends up being the only one that survives, you know, in season 5 and 6, all right, she will become the main character. If it's I was going to call him Frank, but that's the actor. If the son's name, what is his name in the show? Whatever. If he makes it, sure, he's the main character, but right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but right now, the main character is the family unit. As far as that being the big problem, I disagree. The big problem is the storytelling. You don't need a clear main character to tell a fantastic story. Fear the Walking Dead's biggest problem is the writing. Me personally, I know. For me, it's the writing. It's the storytelling. Events are not as suspense-filled when they should be. The tension is slacking when it should be through the roof. There's some problem areas where it feels like they just threw it in there when there could have been better ideas. And some of the character choices feel like it's for the pre-outlined plot instead of something the characters would authentically do. As far as the main character, I'll give you that on a smaller level, like 30% maybe. And I could be wrong. If the main character aspect is a big thing for you guys, let us know down in the comments. But for me, I don't care. I could follow the whole group and love one or two, maybe more as my favorites, but we're following the family group. Sam Garcia, what if the wolves had attacked during one of Negan's visits to Alexandria? Well, Negan and the Saviors would kill them. That's it. It's not like Negan would sit by and say, okay, Rick, you deal with it. Negan and them would go to war with them. Edward Mulfall, something like that. Will Fear the Walking Dead crossover with The Walking Dead? Hell no, and they never should. Matthew Goodman, what type of music do you like? I'm a soundtrack guy, you know? I like everything as long as it sounds good, you know? Usually not country. Yeah, usually never country. But outside of that, I'm good with anything as long as it sounds good. Liam Cassidy, hey Ronnie, would you have liked to see Negan drag Abe out of the lineup to kill him like Glenn in the comics? I don't know. This is tricky. I like what they did. I kind of like the lineup drag out better, you know? When they pick them, it's a definite, you know? It's definitely happening. What they did with the peace sign, that was also another fantastic thing. But I love the idea of snatching them up. You know what? No. I like the way they did it. If it was going to be Glenn and just Glenn, no, I think it's heartbreaking to snatch up the innocent kid. Imagine all of us being like, no. You know, if it all went down different, if they just said screw it, and at the end of season 6, they just picked Glenn and showed the whole thing, and it was like, boom, that was the finale. If they just walked over to Glenn and scooped him up, I think that would have just been crushing. Knowing once they grabbed him up, you know, it was over, and then his face as he looks back, you know, what are his last words? What is he going to say to Maggie? He knows he's going to die. He knows it's over. Maybe he feels like something's going to save him at the last minute, but, you know, he's in this moment and he's helpless and hopeless, essentially. I don't know. I love the idea of grabbing him up, bringing him to the front. I'm sure there's a lot of people who just don't care, but I liked it. The Lit Lighter, did you prefer the season 7 Negan, who was more cartoony and charismatic, over the season 6 finale Negan, who was a lot more dark and terrifying? I would not want a Negan that was too serious. No. I want a Negan who is just like a grown man child. Yeah. So I would go pick with the cartoony and charismatic, you know, because that's the Negan we know and love, at least from the comic book. All right, SRL Productions. In the finale episode of Talking Dead, Scott Gimple said we should be excited for the first 4 episodes of Season 8. Do you think that means they'll cram all of All Out War into 4 episodes? No way in hell. If they do that, it's over. It's game over. There's no hope for The Walking Dead. Makes sense they do it due to budgetary issues. Budgeting issues. I don't want it to happen, but the way he said it made me feel like, no. If they do that, it's, like I said, it's game over. And I mean that 100%. It is game over. There's no way you're cramming All Out War, especially with new communities. You know, they have more stuff going on. There's just no way in hell. Sam Cat, hey Ronnie, do you think that Season 8 will have more peeks into the Sanctuary? Like, for instance, them planning to battle the communities or something like that? I think we might see a little bit, but I don't think we need a whole lot. We already got an introduction to how the Sanctuary functions. I don't think we need much more than that, but we might get a little bit of a peek of how they prepare for war. But again, it's not really that big for the story unless it's mapping something out so it's easier for us to follow the actions they take for war. Peter Hotham, do you think it's feasible in the timeline for Oceanside and now Dead Library crew to be connected? Setting up for a revenge plotline for Simon. I don't know. Is it feasible in a timeline for Oceanside and the now Dead Library? No. If you're going with no, I don't see it, because the people at Oceanside, they've been there for a little while yet. The library, that war just ended. Like, it just ended when the guy was drug out and laid before Rick's in the middle of the road. I can't see it. Timeline-wise, I can't see it. God is Dead. What's your favorite zombie movie? I don't know if I even have one. Train to Busan. I'm going to pick that one. I'm going to go back through the old zombie movies because I was always highly disappointed. Even when I enjoyed something, I used to be highly disappointed because I thought they could have done so much more. So I'm going to go back, but right now Train to Busan is my favorite. Stumbling Gunner. As far as I know, I haven't read past issue 100. Simon wasn't in the comics. No, Simon himself wasn't in the comics.
Hydro Wash provides lasting scent and supercharged hydration. Its proprietary dual-stream process keeps moist both rich lathers and powerful hydration. Simply unbelievable, Bob.
I was wondering if they wrote him in to be a Negan-like character. Yeah, he actually auditioned to be Negan. He didn't get the role, but he did so well, they gave him the role as Simon, so they made that character for him. So he's like a Daryl character, so to speak. Negan wasn't around, just really sealed the deal on the impression thing. But with how many fans whined at the beginning of the season and wanted Negan dead ASAP, do you think they'll evolve Simon's character from Negan's Pitbull to a secondary Negan altogether? Then they could kill him off in a vengeful way to make those fans happy? No, that's just convoluted, I think. If fans are whining about Negan, if you kill Simon, they're still going to whine about Negan. I don't think killing Simon has anything to do with it. But I will connect to that, and I'll eat my own words, because I think if you want to set up for a big end to the villains, if you're going to keep Negan around past Season 8, past the war, setting up Simon as a reward for the fans for a villain death, that could work. But not right now to appease the fans who want Negan dead too soon. But using Simon in the end as a big villain death, that might work. Christopher McLean, you say you don't want Fear to be the same as The Walking Dead, but it is. Wait, what? You say you don't want Fear the Walking Dead to be the same as The Walking Dead, but it is. Okay. One thing I always hated was the inclusion of The Walking Dead in Fear's title. If it is not The Walking Dead, that should not be in the title, no? I saw it labeled as a prequel, but I am not sure how accurate that is from the production side. It's only a prequel because it takes place before the events of the original. That's it. That's the only thing. It doesn't have to connect to the original. It doesn't have to do that at all. Prequel is only something that takes place before something in a timeline. That's as simple as it gets. It's no different than The Walking Dead. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, you know, it's the same universe, so you're going to have a lot of similarities. There's no way around that, and you should not change that. That would be dumb. If you have everything happen, you have people talking about how the news happened, if you have the government acting the same, you need all that to be the same. The FEMA camps, how the virus works and functions and all that. You can't have that different. There's no way in hell, and they shouldn't make it different. And that is not what I was talking about. What I was talking about primarily was the flow of the story, having these characters that in our main story were always bunkering down. I would have liked for Fear to be on the move with maybe characters that were very different than what we got. You know what I mean? We're dealing with a lot of you could come back from this type shit on The Walking Dead. We've been dealing with that for a while. So let's deal with something different. Let's not deal with that. Let's not take characters weak and make them strong. Let's not take characters and break them down emotionally and put them through shit. Let's take a character and have him kill and love it. Have him just fucking love it. You know what I mean? Let's follow a serial killer. Let's go crazy. You know, something like that. And Chris was just like a pain in the ass, dumb kid type. Not at all what I mean. So don't say Chris. It's not at all what I mean. But let's follow some sicko who just really enjoys it. And let's follow other people. A mother who wants to protect her family, who's willing to do the bad shit. She doesn't care. It's not eating at her heart. All she wants to do is keep her family safe. You know, I don't want to see it affect her emotionally as far as like tearing her down. We get that on The Walking Dead. Those are those changes. Now, you can have your character, obviously, who's affected emotionally. Once you make enough of it different, you can have some of the similarities slip in there and it's not a problem. But what else did you talk about? Oh, and as far as the origin story, I agree completely. I would have enjoyed it more if we followed right from the very beginning. I would have been fine if we showed a character, you know, running and trying to get from A to B while the whole city is just falling apart. Through alleys, maybe you got to stay here for an hour, let this clear out. Maybe, you know, from that point of view, you can watch as society crumbles and you're weaving in and out of alleyways into stores. Maybe you get in a location where you can't go out the front door or out the back door. So they're like, okay, we need to take turns and go through the wall. You know what I mean? They're going through the wall. It's keeping everything tense. You got that feeling like a clock is ticking down, because on the Fear the Walking Dead, they were just kind of sitting there. Now you have the clock ticking down feeling. You have shit getting worse and worse on the outside. They're going to break through. Eventually something's going to happen. You need to get through the wall. And then you get into there's a problem. You get out that door. Yeah, that sounds dumb now, but I wanted something a lot more fast-paced than that, but also keep us there. You know, a whole episode just in that environment. Maybe get out of the downtown area and start seeing. Maybe you have to steal a car, or maybe you even have to decide, do you steal this guy's shit? You know, do you yank him out of his car so you can get home to your family before the phones shut down? I would have preferred stuff like that. You know, I don't know. I'm going off and off because I'm messing this up, I feel like, because I'm trying to give some good details but stay general and then keep it moving all off the top of my head. So I feel like I screwed that up, but that's kind of something that I would have rather see instead of what we got. You know, Fast Food Ninja Larry. Hey, Purple, what are your thoughts about The Walking Dead being too predictable? Personally, I don't think it is, but that's what other people say. Listen, here's the problem. Well, I'll read that in a minute, but one thing, I've said this time and time again, they wanted to create this because someone saw the source material and they said that. I think it is so illogical and just damn near insane to say, this book, this is a good book. My God, the story in here, I want to make this a TV show. And then you go to make it a show and you hear some fans say, it's a show, not the comic, change the story. Well, then why make the comic into a show if you're just going to bitch about changing the story? You know what I'm saying? Yes, you change it so it fits on TV better. You know what I mean? But don't just change the whole story. Like I've heard people say, oh, they should have changed everything. then it's a different show. It's not the comic at all. It's not even respectful to that material. And it hurts my brain when people say, oh, it happened in the comic, so it'll happen in the show. And you say, well, the show's different. That is valid. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about fans who think that everything needs to be changed. Because of that, yes, if you know the source material, stuff is going to be too predictable, as you say. But I'm fine with that because I want to see it come to life from comic to screen. And if they make changes, they make changes. Hopefully they're for the best. What else did you say? Most of them, as far as I understand, are people that don't like The Walking Dead comic spoilers. I think that I skipped it because you said comic spoilers. But wait, Ronnie, you are not a Walking Dead expert. I could help you get better. I appreciate the help. What is this? Hey, Ronnie, do you ever see The Walking Dead Telltale Game crossing over with the show? No. I mean, maybe they'll do it one day. Anything's possible, but I don't see it because that's Telltale owns that, you know. Skybound owns those characters. They own all of that. So for AMC to do it, they'd have to make another deal for those characters, for the rights to use those characters in the show. I'm not aware that they made a deal the way it is to use them, so I don't know. Did he add the bullet present from the lovely Rosita in the bat? No. There are ones with the bullet in the bat, and that's for the person who made the homemade. That was out of nowhere. Anyway, I have my own Lucille that is screen accurate, and it doesn't have blood on it, and she is awesome. Yeah, the non-bloody ones are cool too, you know. Everyone's talking about the bat now. Yeah, he made more bats, so if you want, bats, I think he's got more up now, but I'll put a link down below. The tone, when you were saying how you immediately saw the greatness in The Walking Dead during the first episode, you mentioned all the great elements they brought together to create an extraordinary show. One of these elements was the tone, and hearing this triggered a realization in me. Fear has a lot of great elements that on paper should add up to a great show on par with The Walking Dead, but the show isn't as great. There is something missing, and I finally worked out what it is: the tone. Yeah, that's a conversation for a whole nother video, but there's been a tone issue and some inconsistencies that kind of pull me out of the moment, especially watching it. But we'll discuss that in a Fear video probably. What is this? I really don't understand the hate for Fear the Walking Dead. It took me a couple episodes to get used to it, but I love it. You want to understand the hate for it, or you want to understand people not liking it? You should have loved it on the first episode. How impossible is that, It says, or you said, it took you a couple episodes to get used to it. It took you a couple. Well, why didn't you love it on the first episode? Imagine watching the first episode and then I say, you need to love Fear the Walking Dead. And you're like, I don't love it. Maybe I'll watch another one. Maybe I'll like it after that. You know what I mean? It's if people don't like it, if it doesn't match up for them, if they're not buying into the chemistry between the characters or the charisma with the actors or the acting itself, the pacing, the tone we just talked about, if they're not buying all of that, they don't like it. It's just not for them. So you can't really force people to like it. And again, there's different shows. Like, I know there's shows out there that are good, but I call them bad because it's not my cup of tea, so to speak. And it's a different style. There's a certain style of show. I want to make a video on that. We will one day. Mr. Santra 1. Hey, Ronnie, do you think The Walking Dead will end with Rick as a villain, gaining traits from all the villains he has faced? No, I do not. It would be a shame if they did that. Jordan Sinaus, what do you think about Rick having a brother? And do you think they'll ever mention him on The Walking Dead? In the comic, he has a brother, and they mentioned it in the show. I totally forget, but they did mention his brother in the show. Yeah, because Lori talked. Man, am I messing the comic up? When they were on the farm, TV Lori talked about, didn't he? Oh my God, I think I'm losing my mind. Didn't TV Lori talk about Rick's brother taking him somewhere? I don't know, but damn it. Yeah, there's a brother. I'm losing it. No, talk about the brother, but don't bring him into the show. Andrew Spencer. Ronnie, do you think season 8 would be better if they were to shorten the number of episodes? No. I know they won't, but how would you feel about that if it's something they did in future seasons? I would hate that. Shortening it down, no, it doesn't make it any better. All right, think about it like this. Let's get this out of the way. I hear a lot of people say, hey, if they have shorter seasons, there's not so much filler. It's nice and tight. That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit, because why would you let them write 5 seasons, but you claim shorter episodes make the seasons better? Well, then they should only do 1 season, right? Fit it all into 1 season. Seasons are just a collection of episodes. So if 16 episodes is too much for them to handle, then why are they going to do more episodes the next season, then a whole season later? Yeah, that's how I feel. If you don't think they can handle 16 episodes and you think they should only handle 10, then what makes you think they can handle the next season? You're either a good writer or you're not. They're either a good team of writers or they're not. 10 episodes, 16 episodes. My whole thing is production value. Do they have enough time to film it and edit it? That's my biggest worry. But as far as writing them, and we haven't seen indications that they can't get 16 episodes done production-wise. You know what I mean? Budget-wise, we see issues with that. But again, that might be an AMC thing. That might be the people who, are investing. That might be them wanting as much back as possible. I don't know the details. No Fun 1. What do you think will happen if people are killed in real life with a bat like the one from the show? Who cares? What are you going to do? You're going to blame the show? No. People, and I bet you any money someone has killed someone with a bat way before. If they put barbed wire on it, it doesn't matter. They would still kill the person with the bat, even if there's no barbed wire, or if they put barbed wire on it. It doesn't matter. Tom Brady, how would you feel about all or most of the main characters being on the road in an absolute bloodbath and having Madison and Travis in Crazy Rick mode for Season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead? I'd be fine with that. Matt B. Ronnie, what do you think should be the very first scene in Season 8? What would make a cool episode 801? I really love what they did with 601 with the flash and white flashbacks. Black and white flashbacks. I messed that up. I think it would be cool to see Rick firing a gun right off the bat and use those black and white scenes to explain how they got to that point. I like doing reverse shots. I don't know. Remember that idea I had with the blood slowly reversing over the gravel and then up to the bat and all that, and then it would be a reverse shot. And then while we do that, we also open with Rick talking to his people at the church. I still love that idea. I love that idea so damn much. But I think a reverse shot would be cool. I'm going to do the same thing here where you see maybe bullets. You want to see Rick right off the bat show empty shell casings coming up from the ground as if they're going in slow motion reverse, and they come up off the ground. You track it all the way to the gun. They go back in the gun and you see the gun reverse firing, and then it's blurry, and then when it gets into focus, it's Rick firing the gun. Do that and show that they went and attacked somebody. I don't know. And then back the story up and follow them within that first episode to that point in time where they made it. I want to see a mini battle. I don't care if they're going to finish off the garbage people or if they're going and they just found a little group of saviors. I don't care, but I want to start the first episode right off with war and then maybe play catch up with just that one episode. So Miriam gains, and then we'll end it. With our group spread out, what's to stop the saviors from just attacking each group independently? How can our group defend against that? Well, the trick here, though, is that a smart idea for the saviors? We've seen a lot of saviors, absolutely, but do they have the right amount of leaders? Can Negan trust his leaders to separate into 3 different groups? Can he trust who he's sending? Does he have enough ammunition to send 3 different groups? Does he have enough guns for the ammos to send 3 different groups? Gas, vehicles, does he have all that? Now, when he separates his groups and goes to attack, what if the Hilltop people aren't even there? Maybe they've burned the community down. Okay, you can call that a win. But what if the 2 groups or all 3 groups converge onto the one that Negan has? Now you have 2 groups out there. No communication. We don't have cell phones, They might have the long-range walkies, but they're out there. And then you have the one group that's just getting bombarded. By the time they get to where they're fighting, it's going to be game over for that group, and then they can flank around and get the other group. So it's tricky. They got to know right where they're at, and you got to know, I would imagine, where they're going. Because if you know they're going to go up and have a meeting at the hilltop, then you know, okay, we need to attack them here, and if they're leaving or fleeing anywhere, we could catch them on the road, flank them as they're retreating. So I don't think it's going to be as easy, and this is one thing I'm really excited about. I don't think it's going to be as easy as, all right, let's just go and kill them all. I think they're going to have to be pretty creative and strategic. Send out a scouting party. See what the groups are doing. You can have groups that even set something up to make Negan think they're doing this and getting ready for this. Then when Negan sends some of his troops, they get their asses kicked because they were expecting one thing and got another, So I think that's pretty cool. But why do people think Dwayne is still alive? Haha. I don't know. Do you really see people suggesting he's coming back? Dwayne. Wait, Dwayne. Are you talking about Morgan's son? Oh, he's gone. No. Who are you talking about? Dwayne. Are you talking about Wade? No, you're talking about Morgan's son. It doesn't matter. No, he's dead. They're all dead. I'm going to try to get this up as soon as I can, but they are going to go up later in the day on Wednesdays. So, thoughts, ideas, predictions, theories, speculation down in the comment box. Don't forget Q&A first thing first in your comment. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Is it dry out here? Or is it just me?
I'm joking, of course.
Subscribe now.